Kelly Whittick, and I'm the Director of Health and Wellbeing at Westpath. I'm here today to talk to you about the quarterly HealthFlex financial reports you receive from Westpath. You can expect to receive these reports the second month after the end of the quarter, about middle of the month. So for example, the Q1 report you can expect to receive in the middle of May, the Q2 report in the middle of August, etc. These reports are based on paid claims, not incurred claims. So that means if somebody receives a service in the last month of the quarter, it might not show up on these quarterly reports. These are great reports to use in Conference Board of Pension meetings or group HR, financial leadership meetings. They're a great way to keep a pulse on the financial status of the plan and see what kind of claims your folks have been utilizing over the course of the year. It's also important to remember that what you see in the first couple quarters of the year might not reflect what you see at the end of the year. We always see kind of fluctuations and sometimes a spike at the end of the year. Now, there's a lot of information in these reports, so I'm here today to talk to you about what I look at and what I prioritize when I'm viewing these reports. Let's start with page 1. So when I look at the first page of this report, the first thing I do is go all the way to the bottom right-hand corner and I look at the loss ratio for all of the plans together. That gives me my best idea of how your group is doing overall over the course of the time period. I might then go up a little bit further, still all the way over on the right, and compare the loss ratios between different plan types. So you can see like a loss ratio for PPO plans versus HRA plans versus HSA plans. And you might remember us talking a little bit with you about how the PPO plans tend to have higher loss ratios because people are a little bit less of a good consumer in those PPO plans. So that's a great way to see that illustration. You can also, if you go all the way to the right side, you can see the enrollment split between different plan types. So you can get an idea of how many people are enrolled in a PPO plan versus an HRA plan versus an HSA plan. And finally, and I like to look at this again at the bottom in the all plans area, but you can kind of get a sense of medical claims versus pharmacy claims versus pharmacy rebates. So this gives you a good idea of how much of your total claims volume comes from medical versus pharmacy and how much your pharmacy claims are offset by the great rebates that Westpath negotiates on your behalf. Okay, let's look at page 2. So if you're going to go to the middle row over to the right, and that's again the graph that represents all of the plans, what I like about this graph is it allows you to compare how much the member pays, that's the top lighter version, and how much the plan pays, and that's the lower darker version. You can compare that by quarter and really see how in the earlier quarters of the year the member tends to pay more, that's before they've met their deductible, and then later on in the year the member tends to pay a little bit less. So this is a useful thing to take a look at. And finally, let's go to the third page. So this top area shows you your highest cost claimants, and this is often an area that folks are very curious about, and so it's a great place to take a look and compare. I like to go all the way over to the right and look at the total, all the plans together instead of the individual types of plans. It also allows you to compare it to last year and how many highest cost claims you had over the same period last year. So I think that this is a really valuable look, and it prevents you from needing to look into something that might be a release of protected health information. And then on the bottom, you can see the year-over-year costs and enrollment comparisons. I really like this. You can kind of see how your migration between plan types has changed over the years. And on the very bottom, you can see how your loss ratio has varied over the years. All right, well, thank you for listening. I hope that was helpful and that now you find these reports a little bit easier.